Try to.
What in God's name is going on in here? What was that ruckus?
Good blimey. Nerd alert!
Trap.
Good job, Larry.
I trap.
Keep going now.
I trap.
What up, everybody? It is your friendly neighborhood Blerds coming at you again with another episode. It's funny. Me and Jones were planning out this episode. We always said right when we're about to do an episode, some fucking blockbuster shit happens that throws off everything we wanted to talk about, and then we got to talk about that. But I mean, cool. I mean, content's content, so I'll take it. But speaking of Jones, the doctor himself, talk to the people. Reintroduce yourself to the world.
What's good? It is Dr. Jones, aka Dr. Doomsday, the villain, aka, and I know someone already uses this, but I'll put a little something different on it. I'm the Blerd without fear, and I will also not let go of my AKA of Dr. Dank McCoy, and the dean of the Xavier Institute. We out here.
He was probably smoking them reefers over the weekend. Smoking them damn reefers. And of course, it's your boy, Free, aka Free Illuminati, aka Podzilla -1, aka the anti-capitalist equation, aka D.E. Iverson. For that makes sense for the times we're in right now.
I like that one. I like that.
Shit, man. Let's just jump into it. Only Marvel could shake up the Blerd world, the nerd world, the Blerd world with just a bunch of chairs in a row. But that's what they did. They had a fucking, I don't know how long was that live stream. I didn't actually sit and watch the whole live stream. I know some of y'all did. I might be judging for that, but hey, we enjoy the fandom one way or the other, so I'll give y'all a pass. But they had I think it was you said 3 hours, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a 3-hour live stream where they're just putting chair after chair after chair, those little casting chairs. Well, not casting chair, I forget what they call them, on-set chairs. I don't know. Yeah. Whoever's in the industry, please correct us so we know better. But they put them out there, and they pretty much announced the whole cast of Avengers Doomsday. You got your Pedro Pascals, you got your Anthony Mackies, you got your Sebastian Stans, you got your Letitia Wright. You got who's who of the current Marvel universe, with a couple people missing. Whether they are missing because they're not going to be in it, or missing because they're just holding it off until the movie actually comes out or closer to the release date. We'll see. And then, of course, Robert Downey Jr., who we know is playing Victor Von Doom, aka Dr. Doom, in the movie. We have our thoughts of that. We're not going to go back into it, but it is what it is now. So we're just full steam ahead. So, Jones, I wanted to get your thoughts on what did you feel about the casting? What stood out to you?
Well, for me, I think I appreciate that there are definitely there's definitely some big surprises. Not because oh my God, I would have never thought. It's just that they're letting us know already who we can expect and enjoy. I probably would have expected some of these folks to be in Secret Wars before Doomsday. But I know that it's both of these movies are going to be stacked with people. Of course, you have all of the Fantastic Four. You have many of the newer potential Avengers. You have some X-Men characters, and I'm excited definitely for the X-Men characters they're bringing back, and the potential for them to, kind of be working in concert, and making it almost like an Avengers versus X-Men movie. It's almost what it
That's
looks
the
like.
conspiracy theory that's what the movie's going to actually be about. There's another theory I've seen that I kind of agree with more, but I'll go into that a little bit later.
But I think I was surprised that, it's an interesting. They probably were, kind of just throwing it out there as far as the order. Like they're not in order of importance, even though they ended with the person playing Reed Richards and the person playing Doom, which I think does have some significance. But they threw in people that you wouldn't have expected to be a part of the first round, I guess. Like people that people are not as maybe excited about, especially with the omissions that exist. Like there's the new Falcon that came from Captain America: Breaking Worlds, as well
Joaquin
as
Torres,
as well as basically the entire cast of Thunderbolts, except for one person, which people have guesses about that too. But yeah, I think it's a good first round. Like we all should know that it's not the end all be all. There will be, of course, many more people that will be included, and even when it comes to the omissions, that's fine too, because there's a movie in between, as well as, I think maybe there's even 2 movies in between, as well as Secret Wars itself, which we know will be a huge undertaking. So
right.
It's looking good to me. I'm feeling good.
I mean, at this point, I don't feel good nor bad. I just wait and see at this point. Like you said, I think some of the surprises were, number one, just the whole Thunderbolts cast, including the Sentry, is going to be in it. I think that kind of shows how important the Thunderbolts are going to be to the MCU going forward. I didn't think they would be that important. But when you think about it, I don't think people thought the Guardians would be that important and then look how they played a big role in Infinity War. So
exactly,
it could be something like that. I need to read Secret Wars. I don't know if Thunderbolts played a part in the actual Secret Wars, but I'd like to see. But I know they don't always stick to the source material. So that'll be interesting, because if they did, Steve Rogers would still be a part of it. Chris Hemsworth is all y'all need to do is call me and I'm there. So I think he's gonna be making Thor movies for a long time. Deadpool made that joke about what's his name? Hugh Jackman playing till he's 90. I think he really should have said that to Chris Hemsworth. Right. Till you're fucking 90.
Verily.
Right. So the Thunderbolts, but also I think maybe even arguably more surprising is am I saying his name correctly? Tanak Lahorta? Did I say that correctly?
Okay, yeah.
Who's playing Namor? Who played Namor? And because we got to say, because it's a Spanish pronunciation now, because he's Mexican. Namor. In Black Panther Wakanda, he's not Namor anymore, he's Namor. In Black Panther Wakanda Forever, he's in it, which is very interesting to me, because I wasn't sure we would even see him play the character anymore after he got hit with some rape allegations. So I don't know what happened with that, because I think it was covered more by the Mexican media than American media. But I just saw the headline and never saw anything from it again, which kind of leads to that gives a lot of more ammo to people that are like, well, why doesn't Jonathan Majors get another chance to play Kang? So I could see that argument, like, if this guy's getting another chance, why can't he? But I don't know, maybe something happened with that case that got resolved. I'm not sure. I probably need to do a little bit more digging, but I was surprised by that. So what did you feel about that when you saw that? Namor, well, I guess it makes sense in the sense that Namor always has a history with the Fantastic Four, and he has a history with Doctor Doom, so it makes sense in that sense. But as far as the actor and what they're dealing with, what did you feel about that?
Right. So I did remember seeing that, and then sort of thinking about, like, there are all these strings that connect many of these characters, except for the wild cards are folks that I don't think have a lot to do with necessarily any comic driven stories that I can remember, except for maybe the the newest Secret Wars that was not that long ago. But as
Oh,
far as
and
the
wait,
original-
I'm sorry to cut you off, man. Let me pause you because you just brought up something that I want to make sure that the listeners understand. Just because they're announced doesn't mean they're going to have a major role in that movie. They might be in there they might have one word of dialogue, one sentence of dialogue, and that's it. We saw that in Infinity War and some of these other Marvel movies. Just because they're in it doesn't mean they have a meaningful role. But sorry, man.
Right.
Go ahead and
No,
continue.
you're absolutely right. So, and that ties to thinking about the original Secret Wars, which just sort of was this big, huge mashup and one of the first big crossovers for the Marvel universe. Like, there's smaller crossovers, of course, that happened over the many years of Marvel Comics, but like this was one of the very first back in the 80s for them to bring all of like many or
it predates the Infinity Gauntlet.
Right. So it was in the early 80s and it was this, oh crap, like you're gonna have all these people interacting at once. And it was a big melee. It's a big fight. It's just a big fight. There was a Secret Wars 2 as well. And then there was a more recent Secret Wars that was a much different storyline. So I mean, they could really do anything when it comes to this, and we have to assume that there is multiverse implications and things like that. Although I know some people are tired of the multiverse, it's just something that's never going to go away. Like,
if the end game was Secret Wars, the multiverse is going to have to be involved. If that's what was the end game, whether it was with Kang, whether it was with Doctor Doom,
yeah,
the multiverse would have had to been involved.
So,
I mean,
so and then goes back to like, Wakanda, Atlantis, Latveria, Fantastic Four, like all of like to start to start something as big as this, and to think about those 4 places and the people that are engaged in those 4 places, they have to be there. You really, I mean, Doctor Doom is one of these characters that, he started off as a Fantastic Four villain, but over the last, 30 years, he's everybody's big bad. Just about.
And you could argue whether he's a big bad or not.
Yeah.
There's an argument that can be made. Now, how about the actor getting that opportunity? How do you feel about that when so many people are crying foul that Jonathan Majors didn't get another opportunity?
Yeah, I think more information is needed, like you said, I feel like the allegations sort of faded into nothingness, and obviously he's not in jail, so I feel like the issue is different because Jonathan Majors while he did not get convicted on all of the charges, he did get convicted on some of the charges.
Yeah, I think people did forget that.
There's still tarnish on him, and although we have video where he's running, we have all these other things, I think there's just still an underlying I don't know about this guy kind of
and
thing.
then I think people forget that a lot of stories came out about how his behavior on set, and how he could be kind of difficult. And I'm not sure. I'm not on set, so I don't know. I'm not saying that to damn the man. I don't know the man. I'm just saying what's out there, and people take that into account, especially a large company like Disney. But I don't know if you saw his Breakfast Club interview. I saw some clips of it. He did say that he remains on good terms with Kevin Feige, and he likes the he definitely likes the man. And he'd be willing to come back. He's open to it. They haven't officially told him no, but they really haven't told him anything, but they haven't officially told him no. It's kind of what he's hanging on.
I think would be honestly a welcome surprise if he does come back, but he's not going to come back at the same level of centrality.
And I don't think all of that is because of what he did offset, is his behavior. Some of that has to do with how poorly he was received. Not his acting, but his presence as a big bad. How poorly that was received in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. His acting was excellent. Yeah. He was excellent as the character, but portraying him as a major threat that was going to define this current phase of Marvel, it didn't hit.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is true.
I think that's also part of it.
Absolutely.
Now,
so yeah. we'll, like you said, the jury's still out, but not gonna hold my breath
Right.
on that.
Right. So, who do you feel got left out, or did you actually? Actually, you know what? Before I ask that question, I want to share with you some theories I saw that you probably saw too regarding this casting. So you kind of already alluded to it, but some people think this is really going to be a stealth Avengers versus X-Men movie. I don't really think so, unless they got some more X-Men in the tuck that they're going to announce, which they probably do. Well, that's another surprise that Channing Tatum is going to play Gambit again. Because number one, I thought everybody died from Eliath in Deadpool versus Wolverine, but maybe I guess not. Or it's another variant. Who knows?
There was a deleted scene where he turned his head and then someone was opening the gate. So
okay, interesting. So that'll definitely be. I don't know if he can play it as serious. I know the Russos involved. The Russos involve comedy in their movies, but this seems like it's going to be a more serious movie than Deadpool and Wolverine. So I don't know if he can kind of nail that, but we'll see. But yeah, I just don't think there's an X-Men. My theory, which would be funny, is that the X-Men are solely in that movie to get killed off by Doom or an incursion or what have you, to advance it, to set him up as a threat and to advance the plot towards Secret Wars, the next movie. So that's what I think is going to happen, which would be funny because I saw an Instagram post that in the last 3 Patrick Stewart movies where he played Charles Xavier, he died. And then the last stand.
Yes. Someone was like, if I gotta watch Charles Xavier die one more time.
I mean, but it's right on. In the comics, he dies a lot too, and then comes back because sometimes he comes back walking, sometimes he doesn't.
Right. Well, watching Charles Xavier would be dope.
Right. So that's my theory that they're going to get knocked off pretty early in the movie. And so
I feel that.
Right.
I feel like that could be.
Right. So next, who do you feel has been left out, or do you think they're being held back until we get closer to the movie release?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I even think he's in a mission from Brave New World as well, Mark Ruffalo with the Hulk. I feel like he could easily be wedged in here. Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel.
That's my big one. That's my big why were they left out is Captain Marvel. Are they just holding her back? Because this is like a cosmic, multiversal. And one of the people that teased this is casted in the movie. Kelsey Grammer is Beast is cast in it too. So we don't get a Monica Rambeau announcement.
Monica Rambeau either.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see if those characters will be involved or alluded to, or are they getting saved for Secret Wars? What's going on? I know people have their thoughts about these characters in the movies they played in. At this point, suck my dick. Kiss my ass. They're important whether you like them or not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like too, Star-Lord is just kind of hanging Chad.
And they said he would return, but I know he's on Earth now, so maybe that's why he's not announced, because he's Earthbound.
Yeah, I don't know where he's at. I know that Spider-Man's not in here too, but I think it's because his movie comes right after, and I heard that it's supposed to be happening at the same time as Doomsday.
Right. And then it makes sense when you think about it, because Doctor Strange wiped everyone's memory, so why would he be in it? They'd be like, who the fuck are you?
So that makes sense for him not to be included.
Right. But the good old Parker luck, of course, the events of the movie are going to affect him in some way. That's going to fuck his life up.
Absolutely.
Maybe a certain black gooey substance.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the origin of the symbiote suit that happened in Secret Wars.
Exactly.
Back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna be there. He's gonna be involved, and it could spring out this particular thing. So,
Or it
but
could lead to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, or it could lead to the introduction of a certain mixed race Afro Latino young man. So Tom Holland could probably get out of his record deal, and get out of death row and go do something else with his life.
Yeah, that could be the thing too.
Mm-hmm.
The springboard, Miles Morales joining the MCU,
Mm-hmm.
which I think would be a welcome, change. Like I'm here for it.
Yeah, because Tom Holland is more like Chris Evans than Chris Hemsworth. You don't want to do this shit forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although he could do it for a very long time.
Yeah, he's very young. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I wouldn't want to do the same shit forever either, so I can understand that. But you brought up a good point, Doctor Strange. I didn't think about, because he was the first one who said to say incursions in the MCU movie at the end of Multiverse of Madness with
Right.
Clea.
He knows about the incursions. He knows about the Illuminati. He knows about all these. There's these things that he knows about and is privy to. He knows about what happened with Scarlet Witch. Not everybody knows what happened with Scarlet Witch, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the MCU is trying to say she's dead, but how could someone that powerful die by rocks falling on them?
Nah. Ain't no way.
Mhm.
Ain't no way.
Right.
So
Uh,
there's possibilities.
That's another one. I'm like, well, where is she? But yeah, yeah, we'll see. Where are the Eternals? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yo, but for real though, like
Tiamat snatched them up, and they have never been heard from since. Dale is probably like, what the fuck?
Yo, the thing about it is that in the Avengers in like the 90s, like Cersei and the Black Knight were like stalwart Avengers. Like they were Avengers that were there for a very, very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they just you have a not so great movie and you just kind of get shuffled under the rug.
And compared to what we got after it, Eternals is not a bad movie.
No.
The only issue with Eternals is they try to introduce like 10 new characters in one movie, and it's just it's damn near impossible to do that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like you could have focused on like a couple of them with Black Knight, did the whole thing at the end, like, oh, these are the homies from these are the other Eternals that have been around here for all this time. Like, okay, let's fight the big bad at the end. Whatever happens, and then you move into honing in more on Black Knight and all the sort of the dark magical characters and stuff like that.
Right, but that's enough Eternals talk for today. So I think we both agree that just because these people weren't announced in this cast, we know Marvel, we know how they do things. They hold a lot back until it's time for the movie to actually come out. Even if shit that we guess is true, they're not going to admit it until it's time for the movie to come out.
Exactly, so. and when you relegate and limit what Tom Holland can say, but that's probably why they really didn't have him in the movies. Like, okay, we got to keep this under wraps. Like, we can't tell this man nothing.
Shit, you should see when they were interviewing Sterling K. Brown. I think they were doing an interview for like Paradise, Sterling K. Brown and James Marsden and someone else. And they were talking about how tight-lipped Marvel can be. And they were like, yeah, we'll tell you this, and then we'll give you this. And as soon as you look at it, we snatch it away from you. And, and you better not say shit.
Yo, it's serious. It's serious business.
Right. But so we'll see, man. We're still got some little ways away. Not as far away as we thought. I think Doomsday comes out. Is it April 1st or May 1st, 2026?
I think it's May.
Yeah. So that's right around the corner. It's right around the corner. And shit, Thunderbolts comes out in about a month. So, it's cooking. Fantastic Four is about 2 months away. No, about 3 months away. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
July's about to be.
Right. But speaking of television, I wanted to ask you a question, Jones. And you might say, well, did it ever leave? But Is Marvel Television back?
You know me well. You know me well. Cause yeah, like I feel like, well, okay, I will say this. Secret Invasion was definitely a setback.
Yeah, it was
For sure.
ass cheeks. It was
Yeah,
booty butt cheeks.
it was not good.
The best part about that show is a monologue by War Machine that didn't even matter because it turned out that he was a Skrull. So it didn't even hit the same.
And you know, I was down for the Super Scroll, like the old, I forgot old dude's name, who was the villain.
He was good. He was the best part of that show.
He had some dope monologues as well.
He did. The finale, he had a really good monologue that also ended up not mattering because he wasn't talking to Nick Fury.
Right. So unfortunate. But I think that many of the other TV shows on Disney Plus were either not bad to really great, right? Like people hate on Miss Marvel, and
I enjoyed Miss Marvel. I did enjoy Miss Marvel.
And people forget too that it has been a running thing for a lot of the Marvel films and TV shows and everything. Like everything isn't like people will try to say, oh yeah, there's this Marvel formula that everything falls. A lot of things have really different sort of they're in different genres. Especially, you know, they have very different directors, they have very different casts, they have very different sort of themes that they're highlighting and dealing with, and you know, nobody is really like, people are just looking at all of this surface stuff and not really understanding the underlying elements that are there. And I think with some of the most recent Disney Plus shows, Daredevil, and like you brought up, like the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Agatha All Along, like all very solid, dope shows that are completely different, and they are all a part of the MCU, part of the Marvel Universe, and they're doing very, very, very well. And so aside from a couple of setbacks, I think, you know, Marvel's TV shows have been really solid, especially in comparison to what some of the folks are doing. I don't know.
I would say there's about 2 to 3 Marvel TV shows that were really good, and I would say about 2 Marvel shows that were really bad, and the rest is very in between good to mid. So I'd say the very good is WandaVision, Loki. I'd actually put Agatha All Along in the very good. Hawkeye is approaching that very good status. I think it was just really surprising of how good it was.
Yeah.
And then everything else, like Falcon and Winter Soldier, had really good moments, but I think overall just didn't quite stick the landing for me.
Fair.
Same with Moon Knight. Moon Knight had very good moments, and I don't know if it fully stuck the landing. And then some of the stuff just was kind of out there.
I think Moon Knight was very, very different. I very much enjoyed it. I loved Moon Knight, and
I didn't hate it. I think I more than liked it. I thought it was good. I just don't think it's on the same tier as like WandaVision or Loki.
If you read a Moon Knight comic book, you'll get the same feeling.
Well, because I think
it's weird.
I think Moon Knight is an easy character to write because you can just do what you want with the character, because he's not stable. He's clinically insane. You know, he has split personalities. So I think it makes him easy to write and put your own spin on him, which multiple writers have. And to the point where there's all these memes where people are photoshopping what Moon Knight said. I'm like, there's no way he said that shit in a comic.
And then you go and look, half of the stuff, yes, he said it.
Dracula, where's my money?
Oh gosh, so
no, the combo with the Punisher is my favorite, because I know he for sure said that when Frank said still crazy, and he's like, "Yep, family still dead."
I feel like She-Hulk gets a lot of hate. I know it could have been better.
So
It should have been better.
I don't like the reason I don't like She-Hulk isn't the reason most people don't like it. Oh, she was twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. Oh, blah, 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 blah. My issue with She-Hulk was that it was defined to be a comedy, and I just didn't find it that funny. It had its moments, but I didn't really think it was that funny of a show that's supposed to be a sitcom.
I respect that.
I love the character. I think her name's Tatiana Maslany. She was great as She-Hulk. I don't think the CGI was as bad as people made it out to be. Yeah, the show did make Hulk seem even weaker than what he was. I don't know what Disney's problem is with the Hulk, but every time you see him now, he seems weaker and weaker. And then he just popped up with his son with a man bun. He was like, "This is my son. We're going into space." I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?" And I still think it's a missed opportunity that they don't have Abomination and Thunderbolts. I'm hoping that he's in it somehow. He needs to be in it.
Yeah,
especially how they made him more comic book accurate. He looked dope as fuck in that show. Tim Roth was very silly. He's usually a serious actor. He got to be very silly. It was cool to see. But yeah, that's just my problem with the show is that I just didn't find it funny.
I respect it.
Right. Yeah, we talked about Secret Invasion. Agatha, did you finish Agatha All Along?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought. I mean, that show that might be the first.
It's because by the time you finish watching it, I had been done for months.
I gotta watch it again. My bad. But I feel like I don't know if WandaVision won awards or Loki, but if not, they didn't. This show has some episodes that are award-winning quality. Like the episode with the witch, I forget her name, but the older woman, when she figures out that she's living her life out of order, that shit was amazing.
That was masterful, man.
Yeah, very powerful stuff. The show, I don't think the show hit that same high the rest of the season, even though it was still pretty good. Like the episode when Wanda's with her son and we find out why she's killing all these other witches and
the song,
trying to buy
the origin of the song, and
trying to buy time for her son, buy a little more time with her son. That was tough to watch too, but it was also very well done. It's funny that the shit that made up ended up throwing her into all sorts of chaos, but I guess that's just her luck. But I thought it was a really good show. We got a very cool version of Billy Maximoff. It makes me want to see what's his brother's name? I know his superhero name is Speed, but I don't remember his
I want to say Tom. I want to say Tommy.
I think it is Tommy. Yeah. Billy and Tommy. I think you're right. So it would be cool to see them.
What up, though? It's your boy Low Gross, also known as Big Papa Skeetor, and I'm here to let you know you just stepped into the Anaudiverse. That's right. We got 4 shows every week that we keeping y'all entertained with, man. We got the Music Impulse with Smiles. We got Binge Flicks and Chill with E-Ray. We got Let Me Book the Territory with A-Dub, J-Mo, B-A, and E-Ray. Then we got the Skeeters podcast with me and Neezy. And then we got the main show, the Inaudible Ruckus, man. So y'all just know we got y'all surrounded, man. Every day of the week, you're going to have some drops from us, man. We got music that we working on, man. We got other shows that's in development, man. So it's just exciting times here at the Inaudible Ruckus Network, man. So y'all make sure y'all check out these shows, man. IR presents the Inaudiverse.
Together.
There's because of these there were these leaks of these not storyboards but like concept art, and there's supposed to be some stuff going on with the Young Avengers.
I'll be cool with that, but they need to recast America Chavez because that's the worst example of whitewashing the character I've seen that no one is fucking talking about. And maybe I'm speaking out of turn, please feel free to correct me. I don't see any Latinx people talking about that.
Not at all.
And I'm like, what the? I'm looking at her and I'm looking at, no offense to that actress, she did the best. She doesn't characterize America Chavez at all. She didn't act like her at all. She didn't dress like her. She didn't, her manner. It was so much was off about that no one was talking about. They just accepted it. And I'm just like, what?
Right. It's the fear as well with how they're gonna do Sunspot if and when they ever do Sunspot. Like dark skinned Latinx characters or Afro Latinx characters, like they always screw up.
I was like, oh, they speak Spanish, so that must be good enough to play the character.
Right.
Not entirely. But and then definitely with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I like that it had its own distinct animation style, because that What If animation style was very grating. I'm like, this shit just it's soulless. It just seems like soulless animation. So I'm glad that this show didn't just have that same art style. It had its own art style, very much inspired by Steve Ditko, and I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, dope, dope.
And it threw the Spider-Man mythos on its head a lot, which I enjoy. Kind of like what the Spider-Man video games have done the last couple of years, just kind of flip everything on its head. Kind of like Ultimate Spider-Man.
Right. And they very much leaned into Norman Osborn and his waves, and just made him black.
Yeah, they're like, fuck it, he's dipping. Let's just go all the way in with it. Yep.
Him and Harry are black.
Yeah, and they got a hell of a pull getting Coleman Domingo to voice him. Man, he did a great job.
He has such gravitas, and just he does a dope job in that role.
Right. Yeah, and I just love the spotlight on some lesser known villains and characters like Lonnie Lincoln and his arc becoming Tombstone. Even though it's kind of hard to buy into that. Oh, my brother's fucking up. I'm gonna fuck up in his place. Like, there were so many other options you could have had than just saying, I'm gonna throw my whole life away right here, right now. Yeah. Like,
there's some.
And those are some of the dumbest, terriblest thugs, drug. I don't know what they did. I didn't see them moving no way. What did they do? They just get in the fights like in Streets of Rage or Warriors. I'm like, it's 2025. Niggas don't be in the streets just fighting like that. Somebody gonna get shot. Scorpion got the message. He was like, I'm about to just start knocking niggas off. I'm gonna get a fucking mechanical tail and start fucking niggas up.
Yo, that's so true, man. Like, it's like
he's gotta be
what's
the
the
worst
enterprise here. Like,
he's gotta be the worst gangsters in my life. You know, even me and you know, we don't roll like that. But you either extort the football star or you show him love. So then when he blows up, he comes back and shows you love.
Right, exactly.
You don't say, "Hey, come join us." Throw away your football career where you might go to the NFL and make millions of dollars.
Exactly. Gangs don't allow those type of people in their organization.
Right. Or if they do, it's to a point like, we'll let you in, but we're gonna keep you at arm's length to protect you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very unrealistic.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the writers, but there's some things that we can infer by who the writers are, and
I know the showrunner is black. The showrunner is definitely black. He did Craig of the Creek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, which is a dope cartoon for your children or yourself. Honestly, it'll remind you of you when you were a kid, what you used to do. Very black too. So shout out Craig of the Creek. But I digress. I also love giving the spotlight to Scorpion, who I think is an underutilized villain, because he beat the dog shit out of Spider-Man. He showed how dangerous. Yeah, he showed how dangerous the character can be. And like early Scorpion was very much a dangerous threat to Spider-Man. I think he kind of got nerfed over the years and then became Venom for a little bit. Now I think he's back being Scorpion. But yeah, at that time, when he first came on the scene, he was a scary dude. And he beat the dog shit out of Spider-Man. So it was cool just seeing that. I love this take on Dr. Octopus, just his whole personality. He's hilarious. Shit talking, kind of had a little swag to him too that Dr. Octopus usually doesn't have. And then Peter himself, I think Peter himself represents how kind of smart kids are treated. I don't think it's like have you ever seen 21 Jump Street, the movie?
Yeah.
With Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. How I remember they thought coming into high school they would be like the cool kids that made fun of them, and then they realized that shit got flipped on his head, and it's cool to be smart, and all the cool kids were the smart kids getting all the colleges. I think that's kind of how it is now. Like, people don't look down on you for being smart anymore. It's like, as long as you're a cool person, people will accept you as being a cool person.
And I definitely really like that element that that Lonnie was like, oh yeah, he's the star football player, but he's like, oh, you helping me? You're not cheating for me, like you're just helping me do well in the science class.
And he's already smart too.
And we're good. Like our brains combined can really do some good stuff. Like, oh, you the homie. Like yeah, like just bringing them in and
Yeah.
yeah, good.
Right.
Good.
And the show is blacker than I thought, focusing on Lonnie, his experience and things like that. So it was cool. And it looks like there might be some spin-offs to the Runaways with Nico. And so there's a lot of potential for a lot of cool stuff. You know, Dr. Connors, you might see a Lizard appearance. You know,
Right.
Artemis Cho, so maybe Hulk's Amadeus Cho, Holy Hulk's around. And then deep pools like Finesse, who's the Taskmaster's daughter. What's
There's
very
no
interesting.
the thing I liked about this show is that there is no wasted character.
Right.
Like every character has some level of significance to Spider-Man's mythos, and then just it's
The
all there.
overall Marvel mythos with Pearl.
Yeah, but with Pearl and Nico, and you know, I just feel like, and Doctor Strange and Daredevil were in episodes, so it's like, okay, like it's all this good stuff that's like interspersed in here that if you blink you miss it type of thing, or like it's just sort of like these Easter eggs that will lead to things that will grow as long as we get some more seasons. Even if you think about it, like Daredevil and Punisher actually first were introduced in Spider-Man comic books. So there's
I knew Punisher was. I didn't know Daredevil was.
Daredevil too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like those are dope connections to
Right.
to Spider-Man.
So I know for that show, there's at least 4 seasons because it was called Spider-Man freshman year, and then each year would be a year in high school. So I think they're going with that concept still. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too, man. I really enjoyed it. I know they're already in development for season 2. So I'm looking forward to that. But you had talked before we started recording that you had just caught up with Daredevil. So
Yeah,
what are your thoughts so far? How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, man, I love it, man. And from that first episode, and you know, I know that people have been talking about sort of like, oh yeah, things got reworked and reshot, and like, I don't care about any of that. You know, I just want to enjoy a show that's good, and that the story is good, that the characters that are being used are being utilized well. And you know, spoiler alert. If you aren't caught up, first I'll just say it's really good, but just like I am enjoying the interspersing of the different elements of Daredevil, right? The man's a lawyer, and we had an episode that was a whole level of SVU. It was a whole episode of SVU. And then there's an episode where he stops a bank robbery. Like there's just things that are, you know, I think just all these really interesting elements about the way he moves and operates, and there's the seriousness that I think people thought we were going to lose with it coming to full control under the MCU, and that it's not lost at all. I think like there's people getting murked. Like
limbs being broken in crucial ways.
Yeah, it's not lost that at all. But it also has heart, and it has a little fun to some elements, and you know, I love the way that it's kind of like paralleling Matt and Wilson Fisk. Like they're just, even with that last episode, like the fight, you know, that they were both having were very different fights, but like it's like almost like they were using some of the same moves, and like it just
they're reverting back to their baser natures, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing that's kind of the theme of the season, them trying to fight who they really are.
Yeah, they both tried to elevate, right? Matt was trying to give away the vigilante persona, and Wilson was trying to move into this politics and using power in a particular way, and they are finding that it is difficult for them to succeed in that without, like you said, reverting to their more base pieces of themselves, which is to be a vigilante and get real justice, and to, you know, with Wilson, he's just trying to do his own thing.
He's He's a psychopath. He's a sociopath.
Yeah.
He can't let nobody touch his precious Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but sometimes remember, like in that Kingpin voice, there's kind of that the cockroach in freaking Men in Black. Like I can
a little bit. I wonder if he channeled into that,
bit.
because I wonder if he channeled that to make this voice, because that's the same actor.
Yes, exactly. Like a much younger Vincent D'Onofrio being a roach in a person's skin, and now he is a kingpin inside a politician's skin, and he just has this something.
Kind of a little Vince McMahon too. It's like Vince McMahon in there too.
You're fine.
Yeah, and the kid singing to him was like hilarious and kind of wince-inducing at the same time. He was trying to he could not escape that song to save his life.
He built this city.
Right. He's like, oh God.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I fairly much feel the same way you feel about it. I do notice, like, you can tell some scenes were reshot or edited up a lot because the CGI looks a little wonky. I think people were didn't really want to see CGI Daredevil, but I mean, he swings around the city with a billy club. I mean, there's only so much you could do that practically. That's why the Netflix shows didn't really show it that much when it was just a strictly Netflix production. Right. The series opens with a bang with that fight with him and Bullseye and Foggy getting knocked off. Again, spoiler alert. But I did like that swerve. We were all expecting Karen to get killed. We were expecting Karen to get killed during the original series, and it never happened.
Exactly.
So especially for getting my guy Ben knocked off, I still won't forgive her for that.
Yeah,
that shit broke my heart.
Yeah. Like deserved.
Not at all. Well, when shout out to For All Nerds, the show that inspired us. But when they asked that question, like, what's the most impactful death in media? That's the one that I would answer if they asked me that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I think because what I've heard is that Kevin Feige, the original setup for the show, it was going to be more of a courtroom procedural. And Kevin Feige was like, well, what the fuck? The show's called Daredevil. We should see more Daredevil. So they scrapped it and redid it. And then brought, because I think originally Karen and Foggy weren't going to be in it.
Yeah.
So brought them back too, because they were super popular. Of course they were. But it's funny they brought one back just to get knocked off. Yeah. And then I think the other one, that's a way to write her off screen too. But I'm sure we'll probably see her again before the end of the season. Yeah. We got a lot of real world themes. It's very topical. I don't know if that was purposely done or not, but it's very topical with our current political climate.
I mean, this is even prior. Well, I'm trying to think if it was prior to Trump or like right at the same time. But the whole idea of the police officer sort of identifying with the Punisher and then the idea of having gangs within the police force, like those things are things that are real, like are very real. And if you remember, it might have been at the same time as when Trump was running, but like people using the image of the Punisher symbol with a blue line.
Oh yeah. I mean, you still see that.
All of that is like reality, even before, like it could have been in the last iteration of Punisher.
Right.
Well,
the current writers of Punisher at that time they had put in an issue Punisher like confronting a cop that wore his logo, and he was like, "No, you guys took an oath. I gave up mine a long time ago."
Right.
We are not the same. Mm-hmm.
So them incorporating that into this, I think is. It's recent, but also something that's been an issue for a little while, and I like it. Because you got to remember that Punisher he's not happy about what he does.
He's not happy at all. His happiness died a long time ago.
he is not reveling in this vengeance streak that he's on, and in his particular way to seek out justice. I'm sure that he wishes he wouldn't have to do any of these things, but it's just in him now, and this is his world, you know. And he's always sort of trying to find a way for it all to end, but it doesn't, you know, always happen. And yeah, he's not proud of it, you know, the way that these other killers are.
Right, and I just love that the way he was brought into this series wasn't like a sweeping action sequence. It was more of a one-on-one discussion between him and Matt, and just the way he went about it. Like, he was Matt's conscience, like eating at him. Like, he said, "What did Foggy get?" And I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, he does not.
He said, "Did Foggy get life?" I was like, "God damn." He got life in the upper room. That's what Foggy got.
Yo, for real.
What do you think of these theories that Foggy's still alive?
No.
Would that be too much of a swerve to you?
I think so. I don't think how that could serve the story's purpose to bring him back. He's gone. He should be gone.
So he's got to be the Karen Page instead of just a swerve. He's the show's Karen Page.
I think so, man, because it's sort of like, if you think about all of the previous sort of experiences, like, Foggy is trying to, like, I mean, he serves a purpose if he's a part of the law firm, and, you know, being sort of a foil to some extent to Matt, like being kind of opposite end of the coin type of approach to addressing the law, but, you know, there are other characters to do that, and he has to, at some point, Matt has to be both, or work out his way to be both. Otherwise, he's not the character anymore, right? Like, he has to be a lawyer, and he has to do some good on that end because of his skills, because of his prowess in that area. But he also is very proficient in beating people's asses.
And I think him maintaining the balance makes him imperfect at each one. Like, you know, take a case in point, how he took on the defense of White Tiger, and it worked, but in a way that exposed him to the world, made him vulnerable, and ultimately led to his death.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, in bringing out in that first episode, bringing out and going back to Daredevil, like, he didn't save Foggy. Like, he tried to, meet Bullseye and stop him from, causing chaos on that night, or killing either Karen or Karen was the ultimate target. But he wasn't able to stop that either, right? Like, so, he has to,
and almost crossed the line that he didn't want to cross when he pushed his ass off a building.
Yeah, he just was like, goodbye. So, I think he has to do both to maintain himself.
I agree. And yeah, like I said, that's what makes him a compelling character, because it makes him kind of human and prone to failure. Switching gears a little bit, what do you feel about Wilson and Vanessa's marital problems? Their counseling. What do you think about that?
I think it's so wild. And in that last episode, they're trying to like have their cake and eat it too, and sort of balance both of the situations of being in the crime world, but also having to kowtow to the rich in order to maintain his political power. And I feel like he feels like it's going to be easy, but it has not been easy for him to do any of this. Like,
he thinks he can just will stuff to happen, and it doesn't work like that. Right.
And I don't know how much of this will, especially the criminal side, I don't know how much of that will be successful, because Vanessa, I feel like Vanessa wants it all. She doesn't want to share any of that with him anymore. She wants that to be her thing. And he's still trying to kind of dance in that world. And I don't know. Yeah, I just think it's a real interesting dynamic, and the fact that he still got old boy down there fighting for his life, like I don't know, is he dead or not?
No,
Oh,
he
boy,
just
Adam.
beat the shit out of him, but he's still alive. My
So,
thing
like,
is, what's the point?
How long? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my question. How long do you think you're gonna keep this up with him down there?
Right.
You know?
And then what's the point of it all? Like, are you that? I mean, the answer is yes. He is that mean spirited about shit, and he is that petty. He is that vengeful. But still, just what's the point? What's the end game? Because once you kill him, you're still not gonna feel any better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's no like you said, there's no end game that's gonna be satisfying to him. So it's kind of like, why are we still doing this? Why are we still doing this dance?
But I think that peek into the mind of Wilson Fisk just kind of shows you how, at his core, he's just a depraved individual.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the criticisms of the show that it took too long for Daredevil to get into the costume and be Daredevil?
Nah. I don't.
I didn't agree, but I thought we were getting to that point. But this last episode kind of kept that from happening. Because when he became Daredevil, he was back in that bitch with a force.
Yeah. I would argue even he was coming back in the episode before too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that's the purpose of that episode. It wasn't a filler episode. I've seen people call it a filler episode, but like it's an episode that needed to happen in order for us to transition.
I agree, and I think it showed a creative use of his powers. And I think that's something the Netflix show didn't always do. Really show that he has superhuman abilities. Yeah, he has superhuman senses. I don't think they always showed that. So for him to crack a safe just by listening, like, yeah, that shit was dope. And then for him to track down the main robber and fucking turn his leg into a fucking pretzel, god damn, that's hatred. That's what separates Daredevil from other street level heroes. He fights you with hatred. Like only a nigga with hatred in his heart will jump like nigga 6 feet in the air and land directly on your leg to break it. Like
he didn't have to do that.
He did not have to do that. He didn't have to do that.
But he did it.
That's what niggas think Batman does. Like, you know, these little skits we see on Instagram and Reels where Batman just puts people in traction. Nah, that's really Daredevil. Daredevil will put you in traction. But I agree, and I think just for the action we got in the next episode with him in costume, I think that it all made sense. It all got to where it needed to be. How do you feel about Muse? Do you think Muse is just the villain of the week type of character, or you think he's going to be fleshed out more? Because I hear in the comics he's actually a pretty interesting and really creepy, scary villain.
How many episodes do we have?
I think it's 18. It's 18 episodes.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's like a maxi. It's like a super long series.
Oh, I thought there would be less. I thought we were going to get like 12.
Yeah. I mean, typically yes, but I think because it's been wanted for so long, I think they were like, let's just go all in.
Damn. Well, I was gonna say, nah, you know, maybe he won't be really fleshed out, but if there's that many episodes, maybe.
And I know what we're leading to. It's leading to a somewhat recent storyline in the comics where Wilson Fisk is mayor and he like outlaws all superheroes in New York. So I think that's what we're leaning to. Where it's, he assembled his group of crooked cops, which I don't like, because one of the crooked cops is actually a character in the newer Daredevil comics who's not a crooked cop, and he's black. So I don't like that they put him in that. But maybe there'll be more to his character as we go. So we'll see. But yeah, I think Daredevil is back in full effect, back like the show never left. So I'm happy about that.
Very, very, very dope. Very excited about its continuance, and I know for sure it's going to get a season 2. I believe
it's already. I think they're already filming.
They're already doing. Yeah, I think they're filming now.
Because there's set photos with him in a black costume.
Yes.
Mhm.
Back in Black.
Yeah. So, speaking of continuing things, you just completed another trip to WonderCon in Anaheim.
Yes.
For those that don't know, WonderCon is like Comic-Con, but on a smaller scale, but still known to have a lot of good gets as far as artists, writers, you know, film, TV, video game projects. It still gets a lot of people in the building, you know, for a showcase of, you know, of the culture. So, Jones, tell me a little bit about your experience. How many times have you been?
Oh dang. I feel like I've been maybe 5 times. I'm guessing. I could be completely wrong, but I know I've had at least 2 solo trips, and then we went once.
Yeah, I think we went in what 2018. I want to say
2018. And so it might like 4 or 5, and then I had one long. Like my first one was a long time ago, like when I was in college. Grad school. I think I'm in grad school, and I did a quick stint, and it was fun. It's the time where I, like, you know, just pick out a cheap hotel, you know, just to sleep and, you know, eat food outside of the convention, and then you just kind of run through it. I feel like this year they didn't have as much going on Friday. You know, it's a typical Friday, Saturday, Sunday situation. But I feel like they just didn't have as much stuff going on Friday. So I went a little later Friday, and man, just traffic from where I live to Anaheim was nuts. It took me 2.5 hours, which is crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Crazy for some place it's supposed to be like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes away. So I missed one of the things that, like, there are some things that are stalwarts for every comic convention within Comic-Con International, and there's cartoon voice panels, there are panels about upcoming TV shows, movies, comics, films, and then there's the Black panel, where they just bring a bunch of creators that are Black and talking about their experiences. I actually missed that one, unfortunately. You know, I have people that I know that do panels. Like, I actually went to 2 panels on Friday that were associated with, like, you know, real life therapists, like looking at some different types of media. The first one was about Arkham, like basically Batman villains. And then the next one right after that was about specifically Penguin and all of its characters and sort of psychoanalyzing them, which were both really dope times. And then I got some time to go to a panel that it wasn't a typical voice actors panel. I missed that too because
You missed that?
I missed that to celebrate a special little guy's birthday on Saturday.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
So I was happy to do that. But what I did make was a panel with X-Men character voices on Sunday, which was especially dope because it had the voice actors for Rogue, Gambit, Morph, Magneto, and then some characters who voice, or some folks who voice characters in X-Men Rivals, Psylocke and Namor. And so that was a really entertaining panel talking about their experiences, their favorites, and all kinds of stuff, their favorite quotes that their characters say. I text Free in one portion because, like, I feel like the chemistry between the voice actors for Rogue and Gambit were having a good old time. My Remy, and you know, yeah, sure. It was just they was just going back and forth, and it was getting like, should we leave the room? Should we just let y'all? Can we just let y'all just have it? Is that what's happening?
I think that's the cool thing about those panels is that the voice actors using popular voices to say wild shit. I think that's the cool thing about it.
It was great. It was really great. And I just found out that the person who does the voice for Rogue, Lenore Zion, she actually has a memoir that she wrote last year called Rogue's Tale, which is also the name of an episode of the original X-Men series that was focused on Rogue and her origin with Mystique and who we know as Captain Marvel. And so I thought that was really a dope thing for me to learn. I might even pick that thing up. But yeah, and then I, of course, spent time walking the exhibit hall and buying some comics. I bought some Black comics. I don't know if you know about that series with Niobe. Like they have like it's a Black fantasy universe. I bought some comics there. They caught my eye and they saw me wearing a Black Panther t-shirt and they got me. I was like, okay, all right, I'll do it. I'll come and hang out with y'all. But no, it's always a good time. It's always it's way more walkable than your regular.
It's not as big as San Diego Convention Center at all.
It's not as big and crazy, and there's actually way more food that's accessible.
You can, because you're close to Disneyland, so you're by a lot of restaurants. You can walk from the convention center to different restaurants and stuff.
There's a whole lot of restaurants, and as well, they have this like chain of food trucks.
I remember that
in the front too. So like, there's no want for food, and you're just walking for forever. Oh my God, when am I gonna get to some food? It's just more doable in that respect. You don't have to wait in crazy lines for the panels or anything like that. Like you can actually get into play. Oh yeah, I went to this other panel that was about Invincible, and it had the producers and the art director and folks that work on the show talk about their experience working on the show and how much work it takes to, and that's why sometimes there's these gaps, there's all these things, because they really put a lot of time and effort into each character. And then they were talking about just the most recent season. I won't be too spoilery about it, but there are lots of things that go on, and there's this issue with these multiverse marks, and they were talking about how difficult it was to have each one of these different, and then Steven Yeun came in and did his voice differently for each of those
each
characters.
one. It was impressive.
And then you have to have like the model of what the character looks like, plus it with damage and all kinds of other things. Like it was like, it's a lot of work, but we love doing it. And so I just love hearing about those experiences and knowing that the people that are working, that's why I'm less, I think this is why I'm less harsh on some TV shows or movies or things like that, because I know that a lot of people are putting a lot of effort and time, especially ones where like people are really like, they got to do a lot to make this stuff come alive, especially the animated stuff. So I never get too upset about things there. And also Invincible is a very well-made show.
Right. I would say it doesn't make me less critical, but it does make me more understanding when there's like delays. Like we were talking about how Beyond the Spider-Verse has been delayed numerous times, but I think it's just they want to make sure their VFX team has enough time to do it right, because the animation is so incredible in those movies. Right.
So that's when you go, if you're gonna go to, if I can give you any tips, and I've given tips on other episodes of our show, but if I could give anyone any tip, is to don't just walk around, like definitely make some time and make an effort at looking at particular panels to go to and actually hear from the creators and hear about their experiences, hear about what they don't like. Hey, maybe go up there. I've never done it because I get too lost at a loss for words sometimes, but ask questions. You might have these questions, and some will take you serious, some may not, but it's still a great experience to get up there and interact with these folks. So,
right, just to get feedback.
Yeah. But yeah,
okay.
I love a Comic-Con. I love a WonderCon. And I'll be in San Diego. God willing, Free will be there in San Diego with me.
I think it's still gonna happen. I probably won't be there Friday, but I'll definitely be there Saturday, Sunday.
Solid piece. Solid
Mhm.
piece.
I'm ready. I'm ready to get to it.
I will be there for Wednesday. So
Yeah, that shit is like it's pretty soon. That shit's gonna be a week long.
oh yeah, I feel like it's gonna get there.
Yeah.
It's gonna get there.
Well, folks, there you have it. Another issue of Blerds In The Trap in the can. Thank you for taking this journey with us again. Please make sure not to just to critique the culture and the fandom, but be a participant. Enjoy some shit. Don't just watch shit to hate on or nitpick or pick apart. Watch some shit that you actually like. Play some shit that you actually like. Read some shit that you actually like. I'm sure it's a lot better for your health. But with that being said, Jones, tell the people where they can find you.
All right. As usual, you can find me on Twitter. I'm not calling it X because I think that's dumb. I'm still there, unfortunately. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to letting it go, but I'm still
If I have to report one more fucking political ad, because I'm reporting all of them, you're not going to wear me down, Elon. You're going to have to kick me off.
Right. I refuse. Every time something pops up, I get rid of it. I'm at Dr. Doomsday 06. And you can find me on the Tickety Talks at Dr. Jones Knows. And yeah, also stay away from my Instagram still.
And you can find me on Twitter as well at despicable_free. I am on Instagram at freeluminati. And yeah, that's it. Well, folks, buy a t-shirt. Inaudible Ruckus shop.com. Buy a Blerds In The Trap t-shirt. Buy an Inaudible Ruckus t-shirt. Buy all the shit you see on there. Just buy everything. Buy one of everything. Support some folks that are getting it out the mud with no backing from any rich white benefactors. But with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whenever you're listening to this. Enjoy that shit. You only get one of these, so do the best you can. Peace.
Yep. Oh, I'm the one that stops it. Gotcha.
Keep it in. Keep that in. Keep it in.